Everybody, Cinema Sickness here with your daily sickness video, and happy Saturday to each and every one of you. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend thus far. We're going to dive right into today's daily sickness video because we have part 3 of the Cinema Sickness Merry Movie Marathon of 2015. Gonna take a look at some more stuff I've been watching. I know I kind of recently did one of these videos, but I've just been watching a ton of Christmas and winter and holiday and all kinds of stuff related movies, and watch a bunch more. So let's, again, dive right in, take a look at what I've been watching. So, alright, first up here we have All Is Bright. I love this movie, which, of course I do. It's Paul Giamatti. How could I not? Interesting story of Paul Giamatti getting out of prison. He meets up with his old friend Paul Rudd, who's now actually going to get engaged to Paul Giamatti's wife, who they're getting divorced because he was in prison, but they have a kid together. It's this crazy thing. He needs to go straight, so he ends up going on this excursion to sell tree farms in New York, which he's allowed to do because he's actually, starts off in Canada. They actually live in Canada, and he's going out of the country to sell these trees. So he's on parole. He's not supposed to be doing that. But it's this whole story of them selling trees and just I don't want to say craziness that goes on. It's not too crazy. That's what I like about this. There's some fun things that happen, some interesting things that happen, but it's all kind of like things that could happen. It's not crazy, like, oh, look at that wacky thing that happened. Not necessarily. But really interesting story. The fact that Paul Giamatti ends up meeting this girl and kind of sort of hitting it off in a way. And they end up having to steal his piano, and I'm not going to get into why. Check the movie out. This is a good one. It might be a little slow for some people, but honestly, I think this is a good movie. Definitely a fun departure from standard normal Christmas movies, because this movie isn't necessarily like super Christmassy. I mean, it does take place around Christmas. Obviously, they're selling Christmas trees. They're Paul Giamatti is really doing this to raise money to get a gift for his daughter. So it is definitely a Christmas movie, but it's not like super duper Christmassy, which of course is nice. It's a nice departure from a lot of other Christmas movies out there. So Paul Rudd and Paul Giamatti are absolutely fantastic. I just realized, I'm like, wow, 2 Pauls. I didn't even think about that at first. Absolutely fantastic movie. This is definitely one I would highly recommend checking out. Very good, excellent story. Definitely one to see. And Paul Giamatti, of course you got to see it. This is a movie I absolutely love. Trapped in Paradise. Now, I'm actually really happy that I was just recently sent a copy of this. I've owned this movie for years in my collection, but would I have watched it this year if I wasn't just recently sent another copy? I don't know. I may not have. I opened up the box and I was looking through and showing you guys stuff, and I pull out Trapped in Paradise. As soon as I pulled it out, I'm like, it's been a while since I've seen that movie. I need to rewatch that. So I actually I think it was like that night or the night after I watched Trapped in Paradise, and it's such an excellent movie. It's got some very funny parts in it. It's a very interesting story. I love Nicolas Cage's brothers, Dana Carvey and John Lovitz. I mean, the cast in this is just brilliant. But they're Nicolas Cage's brothers, and they've been in prison. They get out, and they end up going to this, basically tricking Nicolas Cage into going to this town so they can rob the bank there. And that's kind of the whole thing. Nicolas Cage, he's got these tendencies to do wrong like his brothers, but he doesn't really want to. And he was kind of on the straight and narrow, maybe doing a little bit of bad things here and there, and things he didn't necessarily want to do, and trying to do the right thing and stuff like that. So he's kind of trying to go on the straight and narrow. He has his own restaurant and stuff like that. And once his brothers get out, then things go downhill, and they end up getting trapped in Paradise, Pennsylvania. Which I love the fact that this takes place in Paradise, Pennsylvania, because I don't live too far away from Paradise, Pennsylvania. It's maybe like an hour or so away. I go there at least once a year. It's right out by Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, out by Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Amish country. I love Paradise, Pennsylvania. Very nice place. I knew this didn't take place. This wasn't shot there though, because Paradise, Pennsylvania does not look anything like this town. I kind of wish it did. Paradise, Pennsylvania it's nice, it's beautiful, very farmy, but not quite to the extent that this is. And because I used to be a Pez collector, I knew it was probably shot in Canada because they're in a convenience store at one point, and Dana Carvey's stealing stuff, and you could see there's Pez, but it was a European Pez dispenser, and up until a few years ago, Canada and Mexico, pretty much everybody except for the United States got European Pez. The United States was the only place that got United States Pez. It was really weird. And then finally, I guess Pez got a brain and was like, okay, well, maybe Mexico and Canada should probably get the same Pez dispensers that we're doing. I can't imagine that was like, I don't know, something about that just didn't seem like it was like money, like cost effective. I don't know, but now they're doing it that way. So Canada, Mexico, United States, they all get the same Pez dispensers now, but it didn't used to be that way. You used to be able to import European Pez from Canada. It was pretty cool. It made it cheaper too. I can only imagine now that, importing European Pez probably costs more. But now we're getting off on a tangent. We're talking about Pez dispensers. But anyway, I saw the European Pez dispenser in the convenience store, and I was like, they're probably in Canada. And sure enough, I looked it up. They did shoot this in Canada. But this is a great, great movie. Again, they've robbed this bank. They get trapped in Paradise, Pennsylvania, because of a snowstorm. They can't get out of it. But they end up doing the right thing, we'll just say. I'm not going to get too into it. I don't want to spoil this one for you. It is a fantastic Christmas movie. Again, kind of like sort of non-Christmas Christmas. I mean, the whole thing takes place around the Christmas season. It is very Christmas heavy throughout the movie, but it's not necessarily all about like, that's not necessarily all about Christmas. I think it's people who robbed the bank, but then kind of finding the Christmas spirit and kind of coming into love with the town and whatnot. So definitely something to check out. I love this movie. This should really go on my list of things I watch every single year. I really need to start watching this more. It's just fantastic. Great 90s flick. It has a great 90s flair. And if you like Nicolas Cage, there are definitely some Nicolas Cage crazy moments in this, which I love. So Trapped in Paradise, one to definitely see. Oh boy. And then I checked out Santa's Sleigh. And as you guys know, I was so excited to see this. And I'm pretty sure I even said when I unboxed this, I'm pretty sure I said, I hope I'm not building the hype up too much. And I was not too blown away by this one. It was just kind of okay. It just wasn't done very well. It's about Santa, played by Goldberg, going around killing people, which sounds like it could be kind of cool, but it's really not done well. It's just kind of a boring, flat story. Like, there's really, the story is very boring. Santa, was actually kind of this, it's basically like the devil, but then got like won a bet and got, which basically apparently the bet was the birth of curling, and ended up having it for like, I think what was it, 100 years or something like that, or however many 1,000 years or however many years was, had to basically do good and be like the typical Santa. But that time was over now. Now he was going evil and going back to killing and stuff. And Santa was on a killing spree. And again, that could be kind of cool, but it just was shot really boring and plain and just wasn't exciting. Goldberg, he's a wrestler, and it felt like I was watching a wrestler, kill people. It just didn't seem very like, Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. It was like a wrestler kind of like sort of beating people up to an extreme where they die kind of. It didn't really do it. The movie fell flat. It wasn't very exciting. I was really let down by this one. I was expecting something cheesy, yes, very cheesy, ridiculous, over the top, goofy. I wasn't expecting a good movie, but I was expecting something a lot more fun. And I've said it before, if you're going to have a cheesy, bad movie, that's fine. I love cheesy, bad movies, but they got to be fun. That's the main thing. If you have a cheesy movie, it has to be fun. If it's not fun, then it is just a cheesy movie and it's not very good. And that's kind of where this one falls. I wasn't a fan of it, unfortunately. So, will I watch this one again? Probably not. I was so excited to see this, and it just turned out to be meh. So would I recommend it? It's going to be one of those things where if you want to see it, I would say fine, check it out, but it's definitely not something you have to see. There are much better horror Christmas movies out there than Santa's Sleigh. Then I watched Winter's Bone, which is definitely a stretch, but I was like, hey, it's got winter in the title. It does take place during the winter, and when else am I going to watch it? So I figured, whatever, I'm just going to throw it in my Merry Movie Marathon. It's just a bit of a stretch. It really has nothing to do with Christmas whatsoever. I know I say winter movies, but I mean, I guess the fact that it takes place in the winter makes it a winter movie, but when I say winter movies, I mean like snowboarding movies and stuff like that, not so much as a movie that kind of takes place in the winter. There's a million movies like that. But anyway, this was great. I had heard good things about this movie, so I definitely wanted to check it out. Jennifer Lawrence was fantastic in this. I love the whole thing of like basically this kind of like backwoods kind of redneck community. No, it's probably not PC, but whatever. It's just it's a very mountain men kind of community, and they don't want to like screw each other over, and there's really no talking about each other and whatnot. And Jennifer Lawrence has to find her father because her father is put the house up for like collateral for like a bail, and if he doesn't go to his court hearing, Jennifer Lawrence and her two brother and sister and his mother, they're all, where are they going to go? They're going to lose the house. So Jennifer Lawrence is basically on this mission to track down her father. But of course, nobody really wants to help her out because, nobody's going to squeal on him. Nobody wants to be, say, oh, your father's over here, because that's not the way they do things. They're not gonna rat you out so you can go off the jail, because he's gonna do jail time. So they're not gonna rat him out. Plus, we end up finding out what actually ended up happening to her father, which is kind of another reason why some other people aren't talking. But again, I don't really want to ruin that one for you either. So this was a good watch. This is a fun movie. Maybe not fun, but interesting sort of drama. I like this one. This is definitely good. 4 stars, a riveting thriller according to USA Today. One of the year's best films according to Roger Ebert. And yeah, it is. It's definitely a good watch. If you like just good drama films, good just interesting story plots, this is one to definitely check out. Like I said, I had heard good things. Remember when I picked it up, you guys said good things, and definitely worth seeing. Of course, then once again, I had to watch. I told you guys I was going to watch this again. Jingle Bell Rocks. I'm not going to say anything really new about this one. I already talked about it in the last video. This is such a good documentary, though. If you are a collector, you're going to love this. If you're a collector and you love watching people collect things, you're going to love this. It's also just a great history on, just different, bizarre Christmas music. This is really about people who collect. I know, I'm not going to get into it, but I am getting into it because it's so good. I want to talk about it again. It's about people who collect Christmas music, but not, necessarily, Bing Crosby's White Christmas and, Judy Garland's, and Frank's. It's not the typical stuff. It is their stuff that they sing something like weird and different, like, was it Bing Crosby who was singing, like The Little Boy Santa Forgot or something like that. They talk about that song, how like they really like influenced them and stuff to collect. But, songs like that, songs you may not have ever heard of, just they look for really weird, bizarre, like, what the hell am I listening to? Christmas songs, just the stuff you just do not hear. And there's apparently so much of it out there. Like, everybody put out like a Christmas album or at least a Christmas single to try and be the next big Christmas song, and some of it's just really crazy. So these people collect these records and CDs and stuff of just really weird Christmas music, and it's so cool to watch, so cool to hear all these weird, wacky songs too. And they also talk about the history of some of these songs. They pick some of the songs out and talk about where they came from, and they talk to like the people who were like behind it, whether it's a producer or the actual artist or something like that. It's so cool. This is something to check out. I can't stress that enough. One of the best documentaries I've seen in a long time. Obviously, I watched it for a second time. 2 weeks in a row, I watched it. I don't think I mentioned this. The one downfall of this, though, this release anyway, there's no commentary track. I really was kind of bummed by that, because actually, last week when I first watched this, I was actually going to watch it immediately again. I watched it. I was like, that was so good. I had more time to kill. I was like, I'm going to watch it again with the commentary. There is no commentary. There are some special features on here, like some extended interviews and stuff like that, and some deleted interviews and stuff like that, which is cool. But no commentary track. I really wish there was a commentary track. I would love that, but what are you going to do? All right, then I watched Invasion USA. Look at that great cover art there. Nice, sweaty-chested Chuck Norris with his machine guns and the cutout explosion going on. This is so bizarre, but this is such a fun movie. Yes, I did watch my Japanese Laserdisc release here with subtitles. Unfortunately, it had both American and I guess like Japanese or whatever subtitles, which was fun to watch. But I really wanted to watch my Laserdisc copy. I do have a DVD copy, but really wanted to watch my Laserdisc copy. So fun movie, just crazy action, just so many one-liners. This movie is cheesy. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. This movie is cheese to like the millionth degree. It is just ridiculously cheesy, over the top. The one-liners coming out of Chuck Norris, I mean, I was cracking up laughing half the movie. It is insane, but it is so much fun. Watching Chuck Norris just go after these terrorists, basically. It's kind of creepy, actually. Kind of like what we see going on now with terrorists, just attacking like crowds of people and just coming, just doing stuff like that. Not, necessarily, not necessarily wars anymore, but just terrorists just killing people. And that's what happens. So these terrorists come and, I guess they're in Florida, and they invade Florida and they start, going after people, and Chuck Norris is the one that put an end to it. And it's awesome. It's so cool watching him kill terrorists, watching him just, blurt out his cheesy one-liners. It is so much fun. And of course, the whole movie takes place during the Christmas season, which is just an extra added bonus. So a non-Christmas Christmas movie starring Chuck Norris It is cheesy. It is fun. It is awesome. You see a bunch of houses explode, which is really cool. Which I actually learned from the Canon Pictures documentary was actually something. They were real houses. They blew up. Apparently, they were gonna knock down this whole like little I don't say town, but this like this all these houses they were gonna knock down because they were taking this airport and extending the airport. So these houses were going to be demolished anyway. So they let Canon Pictures blow the houses up, which is really cool. So I was watching it, like I was watching the movie. I'm like, that looks like super real. Like this little community. That's what I say, community. The little community they're in. I'm like, is this like a back? You know, it looks like it might be like a backlot or something like that, but it's not. It's real. It's an actual real community, and it's blowing the houses up. So okay, anyway. Invasion USA, this is one to see. This is a fun movie. One of the Chuck Norris best, I would have to say. So much fun. Just the one-liners alone are totally worth seeing that movie. All right, then we have Hypothermia, which, yeah, I was let down by this. I've been watching a lot of like Dark Skies and stuff films recently. I picked up a whole bunch at wherever I picked those up. I forgot. Ollie's Bargain Alley, I think I got them. And you know, what I've seen so far has been pretty good, but I gotta say, Hypothermia, the problem is boring. It didn't really go anywhere. It's interesting that, I mean, I love the fact that Michael Rooker's in this for one thing, but it's his family. They're on vacation. They're gonna go ice fishing, and the whole thing takes place kind of like on the ice. And there's this creature living under the ice. That's the whole thing. There's this weird kind of like Gillman creature, creature from back of the moon living in this frozen lake, and it's attacking people, and it starts attacking them. And I kind of see what they're going for. You know, okay, you're trapped in a lake because, you know, this thing's coming after you, and I get it. Kind of like, we're trapped in a lake, we can't get off the lake. You know, how are we gonna survive? That's kind of what they were going for. It just wasn't done very well. Again, it was very boring. The characters were just meh. You didn't really care if anybody lived or died. Some of the characters were kind of annoying at times. It just didn't really go anywhere. The only thing I really liked about it was the actual creature. When you see him, it is so cheesy. It's a dude in a rubber suit, and it shows. It's not even like they try to hide it. No, it's a guy in a rubber suit, and you're gonna know it. And I've like, that's kind of cool. Like, this movie doesn't feel like a type of movie that would do that. It doesn't feel like a type of movie that would have a guy in a rubber suit. It felt like they were actually trying to make a legitimate, you know, not a big budget movie, but a legitimate movie. And they got some dude in a rubber suit, you know, in like a rubber Gillman suit, like attacking people. It's hilarious. So I liked the creature. That was awesome. I was like, wow, that's like a throwback to like the 50s. That's great. So I love the creature in it, but I just thought the movie was kind of boring. It just didn't really go anywhere. It didn't really lead to anything. The ending was just kind of like, huh, all right. I just kind of didn't care. That's the thing. I didn't care about any of the characters. I didn't really care too much what was going on. I mean, it seemed like it could be an interesting plot if done better. I mean, like movies like what I would just watch, ATM, where it's people trapped in an ATM. It was interesting. It was different. You know, yeah, it's a whole movie takes place in an ATM, and there's a guy trying to kill you. It's kind of the same thing. Instead of being trapped in the ATM, you're just trapped on the ice, and there's a creature trying to kill you. So very similar. It's just ATM was just more exciting and done better, and you felt for the characters, and you wanted to see if they survived or, you know, lived or lived or died, or was the bad guy going to get? You didn't really know. And this one, I was kind of like, I don't really care who lives or dies. Whatever happens, happens. So Hypothermia wasn't very good. It was flat. That's the problem with it. So interesting idea, but just fell flat. One of my favorite chick flicks, Love Actually. This is a great movie. It all takes place again during the Christmas season. It's just a story about all these different people here and their lives, and how some of them are falling. It's interesting because it's not super cheesy I mean, it has some cheesy moments, but it's not super cheesy in the fact that like everybody falls in love and everybody's happy. Everything doesn't necessarily work out for everybody in the end. I like that. You got some people falling in love, some people falling out of love. Some people, you know, things not working out the way they would think. Other people, things are working out, but maybe like in a weird sort of way. It's all these different relationships and how they're panning out. Some are based on just friendships. You know, people like realizing, you know, I love you, but like in a friend kind of way. That's really cool too. So it's not even just about like relationships necessarily. Great, very well done movie. I love how Americans are portrayed in this movie. I think that's hilarious. Definitely, I mean, it's an English movie, and it's hilarious to watch the way they portray Americans. Who did this movie? Written and directed by Richard Curtis. So I don't think Richard Curtis really likes Americans too much, because I love Billy Bob Thornton in this, playing the president, just playing a complete like douchebag president, kind of like, we're America. You're just gonna do what we say. Yeah, just fall in line, UK. Just here's what we want. Here's what you're gonna give us. Yeah, will we give you what you want? If we feel like it. Like we're just like the president's just a complete douchebag. He's like, we're America. Screw you. And I can't say that's not how America kind of is. But there's that. I love the girls in the American girls in this movie. One of the characters tries to find love because he's not picking up any girls in England, so he goes over to the United States because apparently chicks over there are easy. And he goes over there, and the girls totally are. They're like, as soon as they hear his English accent, they all just want to have sex with him, and they're like super cheesy, like, oh well, we don't want you to stay at a hotel. Why don't you just come over and stay at our place? But unfortunately, we're kind of poor. We only afford one a bed, and we can't even afford pajamas, so we all have to sleep naked. I hope that's okay. Like, they're just really stupid and ditzy and just like slutty, and I'm like, that's hilarious as well. So I kind of love the way Americans were portrayed in this. It's over the top. It's very stereotypical and kind of fun to see that because I'm used to watching American movies where Europeans and other people from all other countries, they're stereotyped, and it's like ridiculous. So it's nice to see Americans really being stereotyped for once. So I love this movie. It's great. The ending is fantastic. I love the way and a bit of a spoiler here, so sorry, but I do want to talk about it. I love how throughout the movie you kind of all these people end up kind of coming like being like intertwined. And you don't realize it at first until like slowly throughout the movie you realize, oh, this person knows that person. Oh, that's the sister of that person. Like they're all like sort of intertwined with each other. They all kind of know each other. It's kind of like the, 5 separations or whatever, like Kevin Bacon. It's sort of that. Like all these people would kind of know each other if they like went through other people to get to that person. It's interesting, but they don't do it in a cheesy way. Like they don't really make it like super well known and all like, it's not part of the plot. It's just sort of like an extra little side thing, which I like because they made it kind of part of the plot where it's like, oh, look at the end. All these people actually knew each other. All these people you're watching were all best friends or something like that. It'd be kind of cheesy. It's just kind of a little thing they just threw in, which just made it just interesting. So Love Actually, it's a great chick flick. One for the holidays. Check it out. I loved it. I heard, like I said, when I picked this up, I heard really good things. That's why I picked it up, and I loved it. All right, next thing I watched was a documentary, which I don't have a physical copy of. I only have an ultraviolet copy of, and that is called Becoming Santa. And it's a story about this guy who lost his mother during the holidays, lost his father during the holidays, and now he's at the point where he's just kind of like, he doesn't look forward to Christmas anymore. Apparently Christmas, when he was a kid, meant so much to him. His mother got like really into it, and he was super, super, super into Christmas as a kid. But then when his parents passed away, he just kind of was like, he lost the Christmas spirit. But he ended up stumbling across a photo of his father that was taken after his mother had died. And it was a picture of him playing Santa at like as a company Christmas party. And he got the idea, it's like, well, maybe my father was doing this after my mother, his wife, passed away to, get his Christmas spirit, and thought, well, I'm going to try to become Santa. And he does. He goes to like a Santa school, dyes his beard white, gets a suit, does all this stuff to be Santa, and ends up going out. And it's really, that part's pretty interesting. But what gets really interesting is when he actually starts playing Santa. He plays like Santas at like events and in a parade. He does like he plays like a Polar Express Santa. So he goes to like the Santa training school and whatnot, and then gets put out to become a Santa. He does all kinds of Santas, everything again from a Polar Express train ride, to being in a parade, to being at like events, to even being a guy who like not Salvation Army for something else, he like ringing a bell. So he does all these different Santa jobs and kind of tells you like what it was like, and it's fun to watch and be like realize it's a job. Like this isn't easy to do. You're in this hot, sweaty suit. You got all these kids on you. You got to be all nice, and you got to come up with all, the kids are saying crazy things. You got to come up with answers for them to, make them happy, not upset, to make them actually think you are Santa, whatnot. He's like, it's a super tough job to play Santa Claus for all these kids. It's really difficult. And he realizes this because he kind of went into it thinking, I could do this, until he realized like, wow, this isn't easy. And it's very cool, and I love at the end, and maybe a spoiler here, but I love at the end where he's like, you see him kind of going, this was so difficult. I don't think I'm going to do this again. It was nice to do it once. I found out what it was like. It was really nice, doing this for the children and whatnot and everything. But I don't think I'm going to do it again. I think this is it. And then at the end of the movie, he's like, I love it. He keeps going, I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think I'm going to do it. And then at the very end, like one of the last things he shows is, well, I might just try it for one more year. So he loved it. You know, it was super hard work. It was crazy. It was insane, but he loved it. He loved, you know, being there for the kids and being Santa, and I think he really enjoyed what he did, and hopefully he continued to be Santa. So pretty good documentary. I wouldn't say the documentary is one of the best I've seen, but it is definitely worth checking out. And since there aren't a ton of Christmas related documentaries out there, if you're like me and you're a nut for documentaries, Becoming Santa was a pretty good one and worth checking out. Then Cinema Sickness Jr. and I watched a special Sesame Street Christmas. I love Michael Jackson on the front there. He's in the movie or the special for about a whole 30 seconds. It's just Christmas on Sesame Street, and it's pretty cheesy. The whole movie is really based around Oscar. They're trying to give him the Christmas spirit. Oh, this is actually sort of a Christmas Carol, but not exactly. It's a Christmas special meets a Christmas Carol, and I say that in the sense that throughout the special, their idea of how to get Oscar back in the Christmas spirit and show him what Christmas is all about is to do, like, you know, three spirits showing up and whatnot, which is so cheesy but fun at the same time. That's their idea. So it's not completely just, you know, a Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. It's not what this is, but that's how they try to get Oscar back into the Christmas spirit. So it has that going on, but at the same time, it has all this other Christmas special stuff going on. People singing, guest appearances. I love that Michael Jackson's on the front and even like shown on the back. He walks through the picture once. That's all he does. He has a book in his hand of like how to like something about ghosts, which is kind of how it leads up to the spirits coming. And he walks by Oscar's trash can. Oscar hears him reading about it and asks him for a book. And Michael's like, "Here, you could just have it." And he's like, "Oh, well, thank you." And that's it. Michael Jackson walks off the screen. It's like, okay, he's not going to sing a song, right? That's it. All right. Well, Michael Jackson's in this for about a whole 30 seconds. So he's featured on the front and in it for like 2 seconds. Henry Fonda, yeah, he was in this as well for, again, like 30 seconds. There was this part where they're singing a song, and there's some parts where like they're going around different people and they're saying something like goofy about Christmas, and he's up on this fire escape. He says what he has to say. You never see him again. So weird guest appearances in this, but Ethel Merman singing, ugh. But yeah, weird guest appearances. But this is a strange one. This is a strange Christmas special. It's not what I thought I was getting when I went into it, which isn't a bad thing. I just was expecting, I don't know, something a bit more traditional. This is bizarre. This is out there. This is from like 78. So it's bizarre. It's out there. It's 70s. It's trippy. It's crazy. And it's kind of fun. If you like Sesame Street, this is something to check out. It's a weird, but it's a fun sort of weird. And the last thing here I checked out was Winter of Frozen Dreams, which at first I thought was going to be a stretch. I was like, well, again, it's Winter of Frozen Dreams. It's winter related, right? I should watch it. Actually, turns out this is a Christmas related movie. It all takes place around the Christmas season. So perfect. So this is a non-Christmas Christmas film about this these murders. This murder that went on, and the police trying to find out like who did it, and who's involved. You know, there's this girl who was like set up and with her fiance, and this whole crazy story that happens, and trying to find out like what's actually going on, like who killed this person, who was involved. And it's a crazy story because so many different people could like be the suspects, because everybody seems like they're like guilty in some level. And then I don't want to give it away. I like the ending. The ending was pretty cool with what the fiance ends up doing and whatnot. So interesting movie, definitely worth checking out. It's I would say it's a little slow. I'll give it that. That's my main problem with this movie. It was an interesting story, which apparently was all based on a true story. I guess that's what it said. I don't know. The true story of an unlikely serial killer. Serial killer. Serial killer? No, that's not right. If you see this movie, you're gonna be like, she's not a serial killer. So, all right. So I don't understand why they say that. But so it's an interesting story, again, based on a true story. I liked it. I thought the story was very unique, very cool, about this murder and whatnot, and trying to like solve the case and you know, who was involved. And it's not necessarily super like, you know, it's not necessarily like a murder mystery or anything like that. It's kind of about these two people and how they got roped up in this murder, and the police trying to figure out who did it, and you not completely knowing if maybe they were involved or not. Like, you don't really know what's going on, and that's interesting. Characters are interesting movie. it just kind of, it was a bit slow. Like, it just, what my problem was, it wasn't executed well. Interesting plot, just not executed in kind of like an exciting sort of way. It was a bit slow at times. So I'll have to say that. Don't go in this one expecting like this great murder mystery, you know, it's exciting and ooh, who done it, you know. It's not necessarily, you're not getting that necessarily. It will be a little slow, will fall flat at times, but it still was an interesting story, and the ending was pretty cool. Again, I like what ends up happening at the end. So would I recommend checking out Winter or Frozen Dreams? I would say if this is a movie you think you want to check out, see it. It's not a movie you have to see, though. This is definitely not one I'm like, you gotta see this movie. It doesn't fall into that category, but it does definitely falls into the category. If you want to check it out, if you've been thinking about seeing this one, it is worth seeing if it's something you want to see. But again, it is a little slow. It's not gonna be for everybody, but I enjoyed it. Will I ever watch it again? Probably not, but it still was an interesting movie, and I'm glad I checked it out. All right, there you go, guys. That was it. That's everything I recently watched. So, all right, we're done. So like I always say, guys, thank you so much for checking this video out. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Also, if you're not already subscribed, please do. I do a brand new daily sickness video every single day. So hit the subscribe button and you'll see me every day. And also, if you're not already over at cinemasickness.com watching this video, if you're watching this video on YouTube and look down below in the description, you'll see a link to cinemasickness.com. Click on it, head over there, check it out. There's a lot more to see there than just these videos. You can always see like what I'm watching and stuff too. I have a whole list of everything I watch throughout the year. So if you guys want to keep checking out and keep an eye on what I'm checking out, again, throughout the whole year, or at least throughout the Cinema Sickness Halloween Horathon. No, Cinema Sickness Merry Movie Marathon. You can do that as well. So, all right, I'm gonna go. I've been talking for way too long. I need something to drink. So, all right, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a great Saturday. I'll see y'all tomorrow on Sunday. See you then. Bye.